Oh my God. Hi, Spoopy Streams are back, bitches. Some of y'all didn't know about the Spoopy intro. Shout out Nick the Cornball. She made me that edit, and I love it. And all of the Spoopy streams start with that intro. How's everybody doing? I love an intimate Spoopy stream. Oh, it's one of my favorites. Sorry, I put the wrong time down because I was doing 50 million things at once. Mm. We got the latte. We got the water. We're good. I know, Hecate. I'm excited. I've been wanting to talk about this and do the stream for quite a some time, but life happens, shit happens, and I'm like, I need to stream. I haven't streamed in a week. I just every time it's like, no, 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 no. We're just fucking doing it. We're here. We're doing it. Trolling Annie, Sarah K, Ham and Beans. I know Hammy's excited. These are my favorite streams of his. Are my spoopy streams. Whew. How's everyone doing? A lot going on in the world. I can't talk about any cows tonight. But I will say you're gonna want to be here on Sunday. It's one of them type of streams you're gonna want to be here on Sunday. Um, and that's gonna be a good stream. And I think it's fitting we're talking about aliens because what are aliens known for? Um, mutilating livestock. So there you go. Sarah K. Ayo, 8 months, almost a full term baby. Ooh, yep. And I forgot what. Hold on, let me write this down. Take my notes. And I'm gonna be scarce the next couple of days because I got shit to work on for Sunday. But 1 year member badge. We decided on a dumpster, maybe with a raven. If you know the dumpster story, it's my favorite story to tell. Thank you so much, Sarah K, for being a member, for being an awesome, amazing friend, someone who makes me laugh and holds me up when I'm feeling down, and an amazing moderator. To Hammy Beans. Thank you so much, Hammy. Ham and Beans gifted 5 Raven Star memberships. Welcome to Spoopy Burbs. Yay! Trollin' Annie, Hecate, Chatty Charlie, Shadow Hair, and Zoe Wynn. Welcome back to Spoopy Burbs. And thank you so much, Ham and Beans. Hammy is my YouTube's husband. Hammy's been with me from the beginning. OG, and I love doing these spoopy streams when he's in chat because if I don't know something, he's gonna know. And he makes great suggestions. And thank you so much, Hammy. Hammy's a good guy. I love my Hammies. Winston. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. I know my dog. Winston, the bail money, bro. You got your bail money? It's because every night my neighbors let their fucking their little boy out, and he literally just runs around the parking lot screaming. And I might have to mute myself and go to my window and be like, I'm working. Can you shut the fuck up? Every night. We got his bail money. Oh. Yes, now you have the emojis. We have the the alien one is good for tonight. So I know Hammy knows about Phil Schneider. And shout out replay crew. Who was Phil Schneider? Let's look into that first. And I had to pull. So a lot of this stuff I used to watch back in the day. Like back in 2016, 17, when I was really getting into the Mandela effect and all the weird shit, really starting to watch and research it. There were so many videos available that I remember watching. Of course, it never occurred to me to save them to a playlist. And I don't think it would matter because so much is gone. I had to go to Rumble to find a video of Phil Schneider. So, yay, Chatty Charlie, you got gifted a membership courtesy of Ham and Beans. Kayla, yay. So, hold on. I'm getting distracted. Sorry, the ADD is real. I'll settle down in a minute. And I'm really hot. Like, I know my house is a little warm because the sun just went down, but like I'm burning up and I'm a little schwitzy. I'm like, oof, am I having a hot flash? Oh my God. Oh, Andy. So I tried to look up some stuff about who Phil Schneider was, right? Because some people don't know who he is, like a good article. And he was a geologist, right? That was hired by I hate this. Can't I just look at a website without some bullshit? Good God. So he was a geologist, right? He worked for the US government. And the US government's like, hey, because deep underground military base. And there's all these conspiracy theories, allegedly conspiracy, whatever, about deep underground military bases. We could do a whole stream on that. Supposedly, there are all these tunnels that connect, like, all the weird shit with the Denver airport, which I need to redo that stream. Maybe we'll redo that one next because it kind of goes with this one. There's conspiracy theories, allegedly, that there's tunnels that connect all of these deep underground military bases and various installations, like, across the country. Like, you could drive supposedly from one side of the country to the other, which to me kind of makes sense because we all know if some shit goes down, right? Like, all the government officials, I'm sure a certain number of elites, because the rich people are more important than us peasants. They've all got bunkers. They put certain members of certain whatever into safe places deep in the mountains. Kind of makes sense. They still need to be able to move around. But what if you can't go to the surface and move around? Makes sense to me. I don't know. Do you guys believe that there are, like, a whole network of tunnels underground across the US? Like, there would be roads on the surface, like underground across the US. I don't know. I think there might be. I mean, it would make sense. So, let's first do a little background on Phil Schneider because we want to know, who is this guy? Oh, yep. Hammy says there are definitely underground tunnels, and I believe Hammy. Hammy served our country in the military, and I believe him. Hammy's like the smartest person I know. And then I say that Hammy's like the smartest person I know. No, Hammy is very smart. He's very intelligent. He knows his shit, and that's why when he talks, I listen because I'm like, okay. Yeah. Yep. Wait, no. If you're referring to the Underground Railroad, that was underground in like a metaphorical sense, but no, yeah, there's a lot of underground, um and I mean underground, like deep underground. But yeah, there are underground train tunnels. And what are those, the really fast ones called? I have a specific name. Those freak me out. Hey, Julie, how you doing? God, I'm having like a major brain fart. All right, so let me share my screen. Let's do a little background on Phil Schneider, and then we're going to watch him do his lecture because he traveled around for many years after this quote alleged incident happened and would talk about it. He would give lectures. Now, the quality of what we're going to watch is not great, right? Somebody filmed this on their potato back in like the late 90s, early 2000s. This is the best version. I watched 6 different versions. This was the best quality one. I know it doesn't seem, everyone's like, oh, streaming's so easy. Yeah, it is, but I actually put like, work and effort into my shit. So, Dulce, New Mexico. Quaint little hamlet of Dulce, New Mexico has fewer than 3,000 residents. Doesn't even have a traffic light. Unassuming little community is a hotbed for ufologists and alien conspiracy theorists who all believe that below the town is a secret 7-story military facility known as Dulce Base. While tales of the unexplained centered around regional deserts are nothing new. I live in Nevada. Hi, how you doing? The legends of a New Mexico alien base picked up steam in the 1970s. It began with a state trooper who spotted a strange craft in the sky. Oh, let him have his chip, Jasper. Oh, hold on, Winston needs a chip. Hold, please. Here. Do you want this one, baby? Here, take this one. Take this one. Did you steal his chip? What are we fighting over? Hey! Hey, are those my pants? Sir! Oh, here. Oh my god. Y'all are interrupting my story time, which I'm really good at. Sorry, you know how the boys are. I'm like, are those my pajama pants? Jasper's like, oh, these are clean. Let me lay on them and get my fucking dog butt and fur on them. Bro, I can't have anything nice. Okay. While tales of the unexplained centered around regional deserts are nothing new, the legends of a New Mexico alien base picked up steam in the 1970s. It began with a state trooper who spotted a strange craft in the sky and mutilated cattle on the ground in Dulce, New Mexico. He also found gas masks nearby, which he believed indicated government involvement. Perhaps most incredible were the claims of Phil Schneider, an alleged former government engineer who claimed to have helped build the Dulce, New Mexico alien base in 1979. He claimed that he and others encountered aliens during the construction, but that military service members engaged in a gun battle with them and later brokered a peace deal with the beings. Although no hard evidence has emerged, rumors continue to circulate of strange goings on in Dulce, New Mexico. And like, he'll talk about it. I don't want to give too much away. Phil Schneider claimed like they went down right underground, encountered these lizard-like alien creatures. The military personnel he was with shot at them. The aliens shot back. And as you can imagine, they did not have guns with bullets. They had like a proton laser situation type deal moment. And you can see, and it hit Phil Schneider in one of his hands. And you can see it's like a perfect like part of the circle where it just blew his fingers off. And later in life, he was short years after he was riddled with cancer. So it's home. I don't want to butcher that name. Hickoria Apache Reservation. Dulce is the headquarters. largely inhabited by indigenous peoples. Despite its small population, it draws heavy tourism by ufologists who host an annual Dulce-based UFO conference. It's important to note that the existence of the New Mexico alien base itself remains entirely unproven, even as the legends surrounding it are well documented. Stories arose in the mid 1970s with, okay, so we went over this, the state trooper mutilations. Uh, Gabriel Valdez was the state trooper, claimed to have seen a sophisticated spacecraft in the New Mexico skies and to have found a mutilated cow with a dead fetus inside. This was no unborn calf, he claimed, and appeared to be a bizarre hybrid that looked like a human, a monkey, and a frog. Well, shit, bro. They out here in the I mean, damn. Oh, this wire. I'm a choo choo all aboard the Mess Express tonight. Holy shit, yo. Okay, I did not mute myself. All right. Let's see if there's anything else because this is going to go over it. So there is the state trooper inspecting a mutilated cow in the 1970s. Most of y'all weren't even born yet. I was barely born at this point in time. The claims reached far and wide and were followed in 1979 by stories from Paul Benowitz, a physicist and Albuquerque businessman. Benowitz allegedly intercepted electronic signals in Dulce he believed were emitting from deep below the ground and directed at a target too high for human activity. And at this time, I know my Gen Xers will remember this. Late 70s, like especially into the mid 80s. First off, just as a Gen Xer, any of my other Gen Xers, like, do you realize we were prepared for quicksand, piranhas? Why was there so much quicksand when we were kids? That shit scared us. Fucking piranhas. Oh my god. Uh. Ooh, there's Hammy. Right? Ham and Bean says sending signals from underground, especially deep underground, would require tech that we currently don't have, that we are told we don't have, right? That we aren't aware that we have. Bob Lazar is another one I want to cover. I'd love to watch the podcast he did with Joe Rogan, but I don't know if they would take the stream down. We could try it. But yeah, that Joe Rogan podcast with Bob Lazar. Your parents were bibbies? I was a bibby. I was born in 1978. Yeah, see, fair enough that we're told we don't have. Look, I was a teenager when the stealth bomber was revealed, and what was that? Early to mid 90s, because I got to see it when we went up to Oshkosh, Wisconsin for the fly-in. I got to sit in Fifi, famous World War II bomber. I met a couple of the guys that actually like the side gunner from the Memphis Belle, great movie by the way. I got to meet all those guys and go in all those planes. Like I'm really thankful for that experience. But the stealth bomber had just come out. And like the 90s, bitch, we had that shit for 20 years already. Government just didn't tell us. That's true. That's true. What about GPR? I am not connecting what GPR is right off the bat. Jonathan, hi, sweetie. everybody. That's my friend Jonathan. Say hi. Yep, Alien Stream, Dulce Base, and Phil Schneider, BB. Spoopy Burbs, what up? So, all right, let's finish up and we'll get into Phil Schneider's. Yeah, in a facility. I want more about Phil Schneider. Here we go. Phil Schneider says he witnessed a battle in the Dulce Base. And again, I don't want to go too much into this because we're going to watch the speech he would give. So this is Phil, R.I.P. Phil. He died some years ago because, again, while his body was riddled with cancer, because, alien lasers, some people do believe he was murdered. So I don't know. So he says they went underground, encountered these aliens. Yeah. In 1995, his presentation. And the thing, all the YouTube ones are like little snippets. I wanted the whole stream. Yep, exactly, Jonathan. The one that like his hand had his fingers blown off and it's like in the shape of a perfect circle. Attendees of the Dulce Base UFO conference have disagreed, however, whether Dulce Base was built deliberately as a research facility or after a nuclear detonation beneath the New Mexico desert in 1967 when the U.S. government was merely attempting to stimulate subterranean gas reservoirs and encountered the cave-dwelling aliens. What do we think? I think aliens made us in a lab. I think they've been here. They're still here. Oh, there's Phil. Look at Phil. So this is just like people believe it. The details about the thing, which Phil's going to go over. So are we ready to get into that? Let me make sure. Again, it's on Rumble, so it's not the best quality. How long is this? Yeah, it's like an hour long, so I want to get into it. The link to this channel is in the description. Channel name is OLEGEO on Rumble. So let me get the tab. Ground penetrating radar. Okay. This was back in, and especially stuff like LiDAR now. Like they're just getting good with that. I was watching little snippets last night, and this lady was talking about how now they're able to do it from space, and there's it's outside this one pyramid, and they found all these like underground, there's like two separate subterranean levels, and they're like, it wasn't a really a thing back then like it is now, because this all started in like 79. So yeah, I'm gonna say I think we're just getting good with what's publicly available for like ground penetrating radar and LiDAR and stuff. Well, all right. Let me share my screen. Oh, and I think this was the last lecture he gave before he passed away. Yeah, Phil Schneider's last speech. All right. Can we full screen it? Hopefully Rumble doesn't fuck up. Rumble's not the best. All right, here we go. All right, I'll read this because, again, this is the best quality I could find. The late Phil Schneider, a retired, by his choice, U.S. government geologist, talks about his days building deep underground bases for the government. Over 131 in the USA, 1 mile or more down. The involvement with alien ET technology. Samples of elements up to atomic number 140 are shown. The advanced stealth technology involves the use of alien metals. This video, made in Denver in November 95, was, quote, lost until late August 96 when it was recovered. This is the last known video made of Phil Schneider while he was still alive. He was, quote, terminated on or about January 11th, 1996, surviving his former wife Cynthia Dreyer Schneider, and his 8-year-old daughter. May his message travel far to alert all Americans of the terrible dangers facing all of us. It sure is, Charlie.
I guess I can always start off by saying loose lips sink ships. That's almost a pun anymore.
Just to reiterate, there is nothing I can do about the quality. This was filmed on a potato in 1995. I filmed it on my new potato.
I'm Phil Schneider. I worked 17 years for the United States government as a geologist and aerospace engineer, as well as a structural engineer. I worked for such elusive occupations with Boris and Knudsen, Bechtel, Page and Page, Aerospatiale of France, and a host of other e.g.
No, Kate Winslet, welcome in. It's great to see you. That is not OJ. I love Kate Winslet. Kate Winslet made me a Jedi. I love you forever, girl. This is Phil Schneider, and he claims to have encountered aliens underground while helping the U.S. government build deep underground military bases. This is from 1995. I know it looks like you filmed it on a potato. This is the best we're doing, man.
And a host of other Los Alamos Laboratory and these kind of things. But rather than bore you with all those statistics, I've got cooked up a real mixed bag here of different topics, and it's might be a little bit like brain overload, but I'll start from the beginning. Now, like I said, I worked 17 years. Co-invented methods of shape charge blasting, as well as laser rock deflagration, which means rock is literally melted or powdered by a special laser combination. And
so he knew his shit. And again, Hammy's the smartest person I know. I'm sure he'll chime in. Ooh, why is my screen so dark? Damn, girl. I don't know. All of my devices have been acting strange all day. So he knew his shit, did this for a long time. And I'd like to note, too, his body language is very relaxed. His voice and his facial expressions go along with the body language. I believe this guy, but then again, I'm a weirdo and I believe a lot of weird shit. Yes, the UFO people are my favorite too.
The residue of the rock underneath is applied as a coating, as a liquid coating, kind of like instant agate, if you could imagine a hunk of agate, which is a hard silica mineral, rock actually. But up here we have another topic. This is an area to where I worked. I worked 11 years of the 17 years at Groom Lake, S4, S2. It's in the Nellis Air Force Base area. In fact, Groom Lake is, I'll show you in the picture right here.
I always forget which Air Force Base is by me out in Fallon. I know they moved Top Gun out there. Ham and Bean says a class 4 laser is the only thing I could think of that could deform rock. That would have been huge in the 70s, like physically huge. Yeah, let's not forget, like fucking computers used to take up entire rooms. Replay gang, Sarah K, you rest up. I'm gonna need you. I'm gonna need you for another day, girl. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Come get your cows on Sunday.
It's right here. Quite the place. A lot of rumors and other kinds of things have come out of there. Of course, people have stood on the outside for years and wondered at what's been flying there. There's all kinds of things been flying. Let me give you a brief overview. Start in ancient history land here.
Before he gets into it, I also want to point out, back in like 95, when this was filmed, right? It was still very much like aliens don't exist, you know. Whereas I think there's been a lot of soft disclosure. People maybe have kind of come to terms with it, witnessed a lot more things. Everyone's got a fucking camera in their pocket and the ability to upload it to the computer, wow, boomer, the internet. So I think it's much more like, it's not such a crazy concept now to think we are not only are we not only are we not alone in the universe, but that aliens are like here, a part of our history, like all that stuff. I think it's much more acceptable. So back in like 95 and like 79 when this happened, it was like, girl, they would come and like lock you up. Where now it's more like, yeah, a lot of things are accepted these days.
In 1909, the U.S. cavalry was engaged in catching some banditos that had crossed over the Mexican border into a place called Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. And they went into a cave or a hideout and killed the so-called bandits. But what they found out, they couldn't explain. And they were called horseshoe craft at that time, or horseshoe ships. There were UFOs, and they saw these, what they call demons, gray demons, little gray guys all around the place. That was in 1909. Now, in 1933, our government was actively engaged with the Europeans, mostly the French and the English, in special researches dealing with aerial phenomenon. And once again, the term flying saucer or flying disc didn't come about until much later, supposedly right around the mid-1940s.
Roswell, Cowboys and Aliens. I love that movie. Has anyone seen that movie? I love that movie. And this makes me think I do want to cover like the whole Antarctica aliens, like a lot of stuff. I hate during World War II, I hate bringing up that certain party of people, we don't like to talk about. But unfortunately they're involved, so we'll have to come up with a code word, but yeah.
Anyway, the whole thing here is that also in 1946, I might want to add, we were engaged in atomic bomb testing and this kind of alike. And of course, the area of Bikini Atoll. Some of the pictures are over here on the white board, showing with the actual language of both the U.S. Army and U.S. Navy archives. Anyway, these flying ships were seen as early as 1945, 46. Some of them were called Foo Fighters, and you name it.
Again, this is on like an actual VHS videotape that's been uploaded to the internet, so I apologize for the quality. This was the best one, though. There was one, it was like half of it was that.
They were fully known about maybe as early as 1935 or 36 by our U.S. Navy. And there was a shallow underwater base at Bikini Island, and that was probably the one reason why a number of atomic bombs were exploded in that area rather than other areas which they could have been even more remote out in the South Pacific. at Operation Crossroads. Well, anyway, this all led up to later on, about 6-8 years later, 1954, during the Eisenhower administration, led to an interesting treaty called the Greada 1954 Treaty. It was the Alien-Human Treaty. And supposedly the aliens had come in and exchanged technology, and they'd want to take an occasional human being and a few head of cows, and accurate books were supposedly to be kept, and all this kind of stuff. And of course, eventually all that broke down, and aliens are notorious for being liars, even greater liars.
It's about aliens. This guy said he went underground to help the military build a base, and there were aliens, and they shot at him and the military dudes. Well, have fun. If you're going to bed, have a good night shift.
And so-called, in quote, we humans are. Alien treaties are often just not even the pieces of paper they're written on. They're just really kind of worthless. Anyway, my work as a geologist.
Well, because what the fuck are we going to do if the aliens don't keep their part of the treaty? Like, I would imagine they're more advanced in a lot of ways. From the stories I've heard, their aircraft, their weapons, the whole speaking telepathically, and, yeah. What are we going to do? Fuck all, that's what.
Geologists in building underground military bases, some of which are over 2 miles underground. And I think when you listen to Al tonight, if you have a chance to listen to him, he will speak of, Al's actually been on some of the high-speed monorail subway cars, if you might want to call them, that link these bases together. Some of them are capable of riding on a cushion of air about 3/4 of an inch off a rail at a better part of Mach 2.
Elon Musk, who? Government was... I think the government has been given and has developed a lot of technologies we're just not privy to. Because we don't need to be. They don't want us to know. And if we know, the world knows. So, again, Stealth Bomber took him 20 years to tell us about that. Hey, Gata, how you doing? Yeah, and it's, again, supposedly there's tunnels, the monorails, all that connect all of these bases. Like, you can get from New York to LA completely underground, allegedly.
And he's actually been on one of these trains. I've only been in one of the tunnels and helped build some of the tunnels. Incidentally, I helped work on 13 deep underground military bases. Had hands-on experience. Notorious was the one in Iraq.
That's the psych ward one, right, Charlie? I loved that season.
On the Dulce, the southeastern and southwestern sides of Dulce, New Mexico, in the Los Alamos laboratory regions, where we built some hermetically sealed rooms that were very deep, going down over a mile. We also built additions onto Groom Lake and S2 and S4 complexes. There are a total of 9 underground. They're called DUMBs. Like, you can learn a lot from this dummy, but DUMB stands for Deep Underground Military Base. And or a deep underground, DUM 2, for instance, is a submarine base, and I have built a few of those too, which are off our continental shelves and on certain islands and out in the Atlantic and the Pacific in strategic locations. All this, I can hardly, in an hour's time, I can hardly squeeze all this in, so I'll be kind of rambling here if you just bear with me. The main topic of my discussion here is to link up basically what's going on with these deep underground military bases, what they're being used for, what is the present situation now being employed both by our federal government, which is slowly being phased out by the United Nations government, as well as the New World, end quote, the New World Order, which is an even higher entity, and who these higher entities are taking their orders from, and try and link up basically what's going on.
I'm saying, listen, lizard people are a thing. And let me be clear, it's got nothing to do with any of the anti-Semitic stuff. Let me be clear. I'm telling you, there's more than a few accounts out there about this shit. And it's a lot of weird stuff. I got to start streaming on the Rumble, y'all.
A lot of us have been kept in the dark. We've been given, maybe most recently over here,
Charlie, we love Papa Maxwell on this channel. I know all about Papa Maxwell. We love Jordan Maxwell. Yes, I'm very familiar with his lectures and his work. And like, listen, I know girl world, cows drama, whatever. I'm always getting myself in some trouble. I'm into all this stuff. I've researched stuff. I watch enough Gore World to keep up with it, and then I'm watching like this stuff. So,
photographs of an alien at Roswell. I'll just make a very brief statement about that. The photographs do not stand up to a computer grain analysis test and therefore are retouched or faked. They're not real. The real one, the real photograph of the charred or dead alien that was one of the several that were autopsied is over here. It was given to me by a friend by the name of Skip Fromback of Seattle. And his father worked as one of the principal doctors. He was from Germany at the time and worked on some of the autopsy material from what I understand.
So real quick, I gifted my other 5 memberships for the month. Jessica MG, Bun Bun, Tizzy Dawn, Catherine, and Jack T. Welcome back to Spoopy Burbs. Let me, as he goes along and talks about this stuff, let me know what you guys think. Like, Roswell, yes, definitely aliens. Lizard people. Is the world run by elites? Do you believe in the New World Order? And that they have an agenda, and I really want to talk about that. I literally cannot talk about it on YouTube. They will take my stream down, my channel down. They will come for me in my sleep because I can't say the things that I want to say.
Along with other people. Anyway, you just can't believe everything, and that goes for me. You got to get out there and do your homework. Like I always say, you might don't put your spectacles on, you put your skepticals on when you listen to me. So if we can have a show of hands here, how many people have heard about Roswell, New Mexico? Very good, almost all. And how many people have heard about the black helicopters and the other kinds of flying saucers type equipments out at Groom Lake and other places? Very good.
The black helicopters are, I believe, if I remember correctly, if somebody knows, please correct me. Janet Yellen, Queen Elizabeth, all them lizard people. Duke, finally, Spoopy Stream Duke. Thank you for being here. So the black helicopters are supposedly these helicopters. The one thing that's coming to mind is that they are silent. Like, this helicopter can be hovering right in front of you, and it is completely silent. Oh, great. Jonathan says, breaking news. Israel just struck Iran, sorry, mispronounced it. Iran and a couple other places. They apparently just hit Iran, Syria, and Iraq. I don't want anyone to die. That makes me sad. Thank you for letting us know. That makes me really sad to hear, though. Yeah. Like, I'm not necessarily rooting for like either side or what. There's wrong and right on both sides. I don't fully understand the history of it. I just don't want people to get hurt and to die. And what's going on over there could have major repercussions for the rest of the world. Winston still needs bail money.
Well, this obviously is a nice enlightened audience. Most of you have probably seen what a black helicopter is, or maybe even gotten rare glimpses of an F-117A Black Jet, or Stealth, as they're often called, or a B-2 bomber, B-1 bomber, or some of these other sophisticated aircraft that are now being touted as the new technology. Once again, where did we get this new technology? Well, obviously we've had a little hand in that. Our little alien so-called buddies, have kind of exchanged things, not without a great cost. The cost of which has been a lot of people have disappeared. Some, and I'll blow this statistic by you. There's, according to current FBI and Defense Intelligence Agency and CIA statistics, 100,000 children and 1 million adults disappear every year, and these are not kidnappings or murders or rapes or suicides or anything, totally unaccounted for. And where are these people going? Nobody knows. Maybe one of us in this room or somebody.
There's hella kids and people go missing every year. They're not just walking off the face of the earth. Some of it's probably aliens. A lot of it is trafficking. All those stories you hear about all the weird stuff the elites in the Hollywood and that people do, the adrenochrome, right? Organs on the black market, sacrifices. It's all true. It's all true. I got a whole calendar of all the satanic high holidays and stuff, and I tell everybody, not just Halloween, like all through. Keep your kids on lockdown. Keep your animals on lockdown. All that stuff is true. Oh, they vetoed Palestine from NATO. Oh, God. Tammy says the Army had a helicopter called the Ikawa in the 90s. That thing was silent AF. It could be 50 feet off the ground, which is about 4 or 5 stories, and 50 feet behind you, and you might hear a slight whirring. Which is why, when people are like, oh, we don't have that, well, we don't have that technology. I'm like, no, we're not aware whether or not we have that technology. I think we have a lot scarier and advanced technology than we're told for various reasons. But listen, I love my country. Not such a fan of the government, right? Those are 2 separate things. The government, big pharma corporations, they're not your friend. They don't really care about you. You got to look out for yourself, man.
Has encountered such an individual and lost a loved one or a friend or something, and that's unfortunate. My best friend, Ron Lee Rummel, several years ago, got himself murdered because we dared to put out in print, at that time I was still working for the government, and so was he, we dared to put in print that the so-called the Strategic Defense Initiative, or Star Wars, is part of the New World Order and takes its actions. It was originally written as a kind of a spoof or a joke. We had one of these alien grays dressed up and had New World Order insignia on, and of course that wasn't taken very nicely, and my friend got himself murdered. It was called a suicide, but now it's been turned over to special authorities who now acknowledge it was.
Happens all the time. Was it that girl on TikTok that was talking about Diddy and like the blind items? Which, if you don't know what a blind item is, there's a real famous one, like NT Lawyer, Entertainment Lawyer. My friend Jamie Deluxe does a lot of their blind items. That's when somebody will they don't name people that have code names, but they'll be like, oh, celebrity A went out and did this thing with celebrity B, and then celebrity C helped cover it up. And so they're talking about things that have happened, just like not naming names, but usually you can put it together and figure it out. And she was covering all the Diddy stuff and putting all these blind items together. Young, healthy, beautiful girl. Mysteriously passed away. She got too close to the truth. Detective Cochise, I'm a MUFON field investigator. Nice. Ooh, so you'll like this. Please put anything in the chat you'd like to add.
The homicide. Other than that, I'd like to also mention something about my father. My father was a U-boat captain in Hitler's Navy, and he got captured and taken over. I didn't find this out until about 2 weeks before he died on his deathbed. He kind of told everybody in total shock. I was one of them. In fact, I didn't believe him. I thought he was kind of in delirium or something like that. And of course, other things have come up since. And so, anyway, he was captured by the French, turned over to the Third Army, the U.S. Third Army, and then U.S. Third Army turned him over to the Navy. And he was a master machinist. Now, that's not a journeyman. A master means that they can take a block of metal and make a gun or a watch or some other fine instrument. And he was a master machinist. He later became an MD doctor and part of the aerospace medicine group of the United States Navy. Was instrumental in helping build the USS Nautilus and its first nuclear-powered predecessor.
Which, by the way, a lot of the, especially scientists, doctors, from the bad people of World War II were absorbed into our U.S. Structures, organizations, and facilities. Some of them went down to Brazil. Boys from Brazil, read that. I recommend the book. A lot of weird stuff. If you really pay attention, there's a lot of weird shit in this world.
The Enterprise, the first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, and other ships like it. He pioneered all the ways in building very small and miniature nuclear engines, and he even helped work later on in his life. He helped develop the infamous grid bed nuclear motor, which is now employed in some things that look like flying saucers that people claim are flying saucers. Yes, we, in quote, the United States Air Force and other armed forces, are training other European forces.
Hey, Cam, this is Phil Schneider. He was a U.S. geologist that went underground while working for the government and claims, what I believe him, to have run into some aliens, and they shot back and forth. And he's going to tell the story here shortly. This isn't, there's PSYOP stuff and everything. Yes, and Hammy says Operation Paperclip. That is where they brought a lot of the bad no people over.
To fly unidentified, or now identified, or in quote, flying saucers. We've actually built several prototypes that are flying under names of black craft. My position as a geologist and an engineer got me to see a lot of things in the world. I've been in over 70 countries. I also worked for NATO. I carried a level 3 security clearance with a rhyolite factor. Rhyolite is a hardening factor, only given out to a handful of civilians and maybe a couple of hundred military men worldwide. I thought I was doing the nation, the United States, as well as the world a favor by, I thought I was kind of keeping my end up. Well, it didn't work out that way. I was to later find out that these underground bases are now being employed as strategic bases for, in case there is martial law in this country. Right now, our military professors that used to be in war colleges and the like are training people like ex-Russian KGB and Spetsnaz people right here on American soil. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes, along with other people, other geologists. By the way, I'm still a geologist, still do geological survey work. However, I don't work for the government anymore.
I believe it. Trust and believe the upper echelon, the upper crust. At least what they consider themselves to be that. They don't care about us. They'll leave us up top on the surface, whatever. Zombies, nuclear winter. They don't care. We're going to have to fend for ourselves. Know how to grow your own food. Arm yourself. Stock munitions. Because if shit goes down, it's going to go down. And you're not going to have anyone to call. You're not going to be able to call anybody. And it could happen like that. It would take one little fucking thing for everything to disintegrate. The elites don't care about us. They care. They're going to cover their own asses. Yep. Duke says he lost his fingers and it got gutted while open. Somehow, when he unalived himself, he was found with a garden hose. around his neck. Yeah, no, he was taken out. Let's be honest. I believe allegedly my conspiracy, whatever my opinion, is that Phil Schneider is one of many people for many reasons that was taken out.
Took my security clearance and all my government stuff and cut it up and sent it back to the, pardon my French, SOBs. When I found out that a number of these 131 deep underground military bases are being used to subvert the Constitution of these United States and its people, I says, that is enough. I can't possibly be connected. Oh, Mr. Schneider, you can't quit, they said. Well, I says, yes, I can. I'm an individual. I'm going to quit, and I'm walking off the job.
To me, this is a patriot. This is somebody, like I said, I love my country, don't like my government very much. This is someone I consider a patriot and a humanitarian, I guess, because he put his own ass on the line to tell people the truth, right? Whether they believed him or not, because of course you've got to have those people out there that are like, it's all crazy. Just like there was a lot of stuff being said in, say 2020 that's turned out to not be true and was propaganda and bullshit. Follow what science? Where? There was none.
Got arrested and casually told, well, you got to finish a job. And so I caved into that part and I finished 3 weeks. And then at that time, my father was dying and I was allowed home and I never went back for my paychecks. Don't intend to either. These people are beginning to show signs of being our utmost enemy. I'm talking about military people now engaged in training foreign troops on American soil, clearly against the Bill of Rights and the U.S. Constitution. It's why we formed a government, why our forefathers formed a government, a republic of these United States in the first place, way back 200 plus years ago. Because the drawing and quartering of soldiers, taxation without representation, law by edict, otherwise known as today's version, executive order.
And fun fact, seeing as April 15th just passed, did you know there is no law on the books that says you have to pay taxes on your wages? Income is supposed to be like you're not supposed to be paying taxes on like your hourly wages, right? Income, it's supposed to be taxes for like, I'm not going to explain this very well. Like rich people, like, somebody sells a house for $2 million and they make, $1.5 million on it. They're supposed to be like paying that. We're not supposed to be paying taxes on our wages, our / income. But notice they call it wages. Wages. There is no law on the books. But if you don't, they'll come take all your shit. You don't really own anything. Don't pay your property tax. They'll put a lien on your house and your property. Don't pay your taxes. You have the title to your car. They'll put a lien on it until you pay it. And if you don't, they'll come take your shit. You do not own anything. It's all an illusion.
Among other things. The very reasons that we became, in quote, free, a free republic, a free society, possibly one of the greatest nations to ever be a nation on this earth, were instilled in our founding fathers that are now so far away from the people now running our federal government structure. So I'm here today to touch upon a number of subjects. One being that these underground bases are roughly over 3 of them per state. There's now, instead of 12 prison camps, there's 39. That's almost 1 per state. They're building 2 prison camps every 7 months. They're building 2 underground military bases every year. Each one of these military bases, by the way, these underground military bases, they cost somewhere between $17 and $26 billion.
Never mind our veterans, our homeless veterans. Never mind, people that need help. But again, they don't care about us. We are cattle. And I would like it noted, I live in the great state of Nevada. Granted, I'm in northern Nevada. I'm not around like Vegas and whatever, but there's some crazy statistic where it's like what? It's like 80 or 90% of the land in Nevada, and it's Nevada, not Nevada. It's Nevada. Is federally owned. This is a desolate state. I worry I worry and I wonder what's out there, and I'm like,
They employ 1,800 to 10,000 workers each in varying grades of skill. They gobble up totally through the black budget over 1/4 of the black budget, or roughly $310 billion. Of course,
the black budget is like the secret budget where it's like it's either nondescript, miscellaneous, or it's like worked into the budget, but is like a separate budget for very like things like he's talking about projects that the government and the deep state, because there's there's levels and there's nuance to this shit that they don't want people to know about. Isn't it funny that was it like the day before 9/11 happened back in 2001? Wasn't it like some astronomical number, like hundreds of millions of dollars were unaccounted for? And all of those files and paperwork stuff, guess where that was? Was it World Trade Center, Building 7? And yeah, that was allowed to happen. That was a controlled demolition. And when the building fell that all the papers were in, for these hundreds of millions of dollars of missing money, that building just happened to fall. Telling you, pay attention, man. I agree, Duke. Duke says, I think our rights are an illusion. We are all free range slaves, too distracted and complacent to do anything about it. I agree. We're prisoner. I would use the term, I always say this is a prison planet. What's an easier prison to keep people in? One where they're confined to a small cell, or one where they have the illusion of freedom and can come and go as they please and are given all these distractions. Look, people are too busy fighting on Twitter about stupid shit. And there's a lot of social issues I could go into, but I'm not going to go into it right now because I don't want to go there. Stop fighting with each other over stupid shit. Stop getting offended over stupid shit. When you label everything as something, then nothing is that thing. Miss me with that.
You may say, where are these figures coming from? Well, the black budget, as we know it, in quote, black projects, which anything called black.
Yes. Hammy says the quote unquote black budget comes from the Pentagon spending $600 for a toilet seat. Exactly. A Capone boxer. Welcome in. I hope you're well. Good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Is significant of hidden from Congress, hidden from the American people. Very few people are even in the know about it at all. A black budget per year garners over $500 billion a year. And it's these kind of huge quantities and sums of monies are garnered through CIA drug activity, National Security Agency clandestine operations, mostly in Panama and South America. Now also engaged in Russia in bringing and refining strategic metals. By the way, you might want to ask, where's all these kind of interesting new metals coming from? Over here on the whiteboard, we have the new periodic table. It's got 140 elements. Now, in our high schools of today, I was in a high school about a week ago, I saw a new periodic table had 105 elements. Now, somewhere, we're not being told the truth. We're being lied to at every turn and every corner. We're considered less than morons. So the government has made itself an entity, an independent taxing body, an entity into itself, and isn't accountable to anybody, not even the so-called New World Order. They just go ahead and do everything willy-nilly as they please.
Yeah, because who's going to stop them? Who's going to hold them accountable? Like I always say, left wing, right wing, it's the same bird. And don't forget, all these fuckers all break bread at the same table, and it's inside Bohemian Grove. They're all in cahoots together. It's just a fucking illusion. Hey, Diff. Duke says you are right. The missing money was talked about by Donald Rumsfeld in a press conference on September 10th. Supposedly, the plane hit the exact floors where the accounting investigation was taking place. Yep. And what did September 11th do? That was the first attack on American soil since Pearl Harbor. But Pearl Harbor was still removed. I lived on Maui. That's like you're 7 hours, by jet plane ride, or what I mean, like a Boeing, whatever, out into the fucking ocean. Like it's a bit of ways away, and it's not really American soil. That's Polynesian soil, but I digress. But this was like the first major attack on like American soil, and it freaked all of us out. Oh my God. Because everything is so removed, right? Wars and attacks were just things we saw on TV as Americans. It happened in our fucking backyard. And it scared the shit out of all of us. So what did we say? Yeah, I'm fine. Patriot Act, I'm good. You want to listen in on my conversation and monitor all of my online activity? Go ahead. As long as it helps catch the terrorists and keeps me and my family safe. Sure, listen in. You listen to some of these intelligence guys talk. There's one guy that's like, you can take the battery out of your phone. I can still listen to you. Don't you find it weird? Do you remember that one couple? Didn't have a cat. Right? Wrote down or some shit. Agreed silently. They were going to talk about getting a cat. The next day, all the ads in their various social media feeds were for cat items. Don't tell me they're not listening. And they're not watching. I refuse to download the TikToks because they can track all your keystrokes on your phone as a whole. Again, Joe Rogan, he read through the fine print and he's like, that shit's crazy. And I find it interesting that in China, where TikTok is based, the kids are limited and all they're watching is like educational stuff, science experiments, how to improve your maths, all that stuff. And they're limited and it's all educational. Meanwhile, over here, gee, what's the latest new dance? It's pay attention.
Nobody checking. You don't have to worry about this. Occasionally there's a senator who pokes a nose in here and there, and that senator finds out either nicely or not so nicely that you don't do things like that. If we're to gain a grip on our country, if we're to take our country back, we must first ask our public officials if they cannot tell us the truth, and we will impeach them, or they will be impeached, or they'll be tried as traitors. This is pretty stiff language. Already it's slowly beginning to trickle out and to occur to a number of people that this may be the only way out. And also, our founding fathers, George Washington, Patrick Henry, and a few of the other ones, came up and said that you don't want to let the beast out of the box. And they were talking about a runaway government. You don't want to allow your government to become like England at that time. And so they warned us about this very same kind of thing. First of all, the United States is not a democracy. It's not a republic anymore. It should be a republic. That's to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God. Why we can't even pray in the public schools anymore? We have to have a Supreme Court judge or group of them, plus Janet Reno and company, among other things, telling us what to do. Interpret for us as if we cannot read with our own two eyes and understand with our mind. This, of course, is bad policy all the way around. And I guess I don't need to blow that by your ears. Okay, on another subject, I have a number of items up here at the table.
And again, this was in 95. There was no internet. Well, it was in its infancy. My dad was one of those guys, had a Commodore 64 and used to talk to people on Q-Link. If the OGs remember, shout out. Things were really different back then. There was no YouTube. There was no internet in your pocket. And a lot of this wasn't talked about. It was like, oh, only that like weird group of people over there. Now I'm so glad it's more commonplace and that we can do things like this. We can sit here and have a conversation and watch Phil and talk about things. It was so much harder to share and obtain information like this back in the day. And I get, again, not everyone believes in things that are talked about here, whether it's aliens, ghosts, whatever, conspiracy theories, this, that, the other thing. I find a lot of people that are like, oh, that's bullshit or whatever. When it comes to like a lot of government type stuff, I think it's because they're scared. They want to believe all the shit about the government and what's going on isn't true, because to think that it is scares them. And it should, because it's fucking scary.
One of which here is, I can show it, is a heavy hunk of rock indeed. It has a weight of about a little bit more than a pound, 2.5 times the weight of uranium. It's not radioactive, can never be made radioactive. It's composed of earth, rare earth, clays, and powdered metals, as well as an alien element, mostly from crashed, retrieved flying saucers and those of the kind that have happenstance to crash in our deserts and backyards, so to speak. It's called mironite. This is employed in every stealth aircraft, every black jet, throughout the black budget. Also in the very small quantities in the skins of black helicopters.
Mironite. Hammy, you ever heard of this stuff before?
Here's another thing. Here's a piece of probably the purest titanium you'll ever hear or see. It's so pure. It's also composed with other alien elements to make it extremely tough. It's capable of withstanding temperatures in excess of 7,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Jesus Christ! Do you guys know how hot 7,000 degrees is? God damn. Mironite. Yeah, mironite. And then he's talking about titanium that can withstand 7,000 degrees. Hammy, please, how hot is that? Can you give us some stats, sweetie? LimeWire and Napster, Duke. Oh, nope. I was always smart and stayed away from those. Yeah, you always were getting the viruses on your home computer. I see you, Duke.
Our new Phoenix-class submarines, of which we're building 2 a month right now. Phoenix-class submarines is a black budget program. Each one of those submarines costing $208 million just for the titanium hull, which is made of this material. Approximately 10,000 pounds of it.
And this is in 1995 dollars. And I understand, right? Like, listen, our military has become a fucking joke. Again, I'm not going to go into it. Between the stuff going on and our military men and women being forced to eat the pokey bowl, with like salmon and ahi tuna in it. the Pokey Bowl back in like 2020, 2021. You know what I mean? I got to speak in code. I saw a video about 6 months ago, and one was a military and one was a civilian doctor. And they were like, our military, we have no pilots. They cannot, because they cannot fly, because they ate this tuna food. We're talking about food that was no good. And now they all have like myocarditis and heart problems and stuff. Our military is disabled between all of the health problems that the ahi tuna caused. And then the other half is like, let me throw on this skirt.
Now, we've got supposedly, as of the data right now, we've got 106 of these submarines. They're flying waters in the waves. They can dive to a depth of over 7,000 feet and hold that for 3 months. It's a fantastic submarine indeed. It has 11 grid bed nuclear motors on it, engines that run everything, purify the air. By the way, these aren't your usual nuclear motor installation. They're very small. They're probably no bigger than this podium, weighing less than 3,000 pounds, putting out as much as the equivalent of 3 aircraft carriers of Enterprise class. But these Phoenix-class submarines are getting this metal. Now, where are we getting the metal? Well, it's being stockpiled in a number of strategic locations. Supposedly, I've heard stories, well, it's being mined on the moon, and I have no way of proving that, one way or another. I think we're probably getting it from Russia, or refining it in outer space. Or are we shuttling, basically a shuttle, a secret shuttle flight, one a week?
Nah, dude, it's the jump rooms, bro. Y'all ever hear about the jump rooms? Yeah, Ixnay on the Axnay on the Axvay. Yep. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, y'all know about the jump rooms, super soldiers, and how there's like bases on the moon, and they go into these jump rooms, and it like transports them instantly from like the moon to like Earth to like Mars to like wherever. All the secret space program. We'll get into that one day. That's wild.
Now it's going up and back. What are they shuttling? Well, obviously they've got kind of their own little laboratories up there, space station, and all this kind of stuff. Remember, what you're being told is only just a smattering of the truth. It's not the real truth. Maybe it's 5% of the truth. Maybe it's not even that. You can rest assured you're not getting much. Another strategic metal is this particular bar with some strange crystals on it. There's scalenohedral crystals of niobium, titanium, rhenium, copper oxide. This complex group of elements, not found on the Earth in specific quantities. This was developed at Los Alamos through EG&G and other outfits.
Hammy Duke, you guys picked that up. Gata, yes, I would very much like you to make it to your next birthday too. We know nothing. All I know is I would like a latte and Winston needs bail money. That's all I know.
Are employed in all black jet aircraft, all of them, including the in-quote sport model, the little flying saucer we occasionally see over at Groom Lake. And by the way, now, if we happen to be with a video camera, taking pictures of the so-called area around Groom Lake, it's now you can get your equipment confiscated, your car, your house, considered the same thing as a drug dealer, and you'll go to jail for up to 5 years.
Again, I live in northern Nevada, right? My brother came to visit. My brother and his wife and stuff came to visit. This was like, God, 2010, 9, maybe around there, like between 2005, 2010. And they were here for a couple weeks, and my dad and my brother got a hair up their ass, and they're like, let's drive down Highway 50, which is like one of the most desolate roads in the U.S., let alone the state of Nevada. Let's go to Area 51. If these motherfuckers didn't drive, they stayed at the little LA Inn. Very cute. I used to have a t-shirt from there. Loved it. And they went around fucking Area 51 and around the perimeter, and there's signs everywhere. Don't go past this point or you'll get shot. And they could hear, because again, this was some, like 20 years ago, they could hear the cameras they had hidden in the plants in the ground, watching them and tracking them. And I was like, not my idea of a good time, but okay. That's some serious shit. Hammy says niobium is a lustrous, ductile metal. It is a superconductor with a high melting point. Niobium is also highly resistant to heat and corrosion and is generally non-reactive. Niobium is a strong metal. So that'd be good for, because again, when space, any sort of craft coming in and out of the atmosphere, it gets very hot, right? Or even, listen, why did NASA start researching the oceans and then we're like, nah, we're good. There's some shit in the oceans too. Like, there's some, I think a lot of history and information has been lost under the sea. Like, Sebastian and Ariel need to get on that shit. But yeah, that makes sense because that would stand up to any atmospheric or deep sea corrosion, temperatures, and the like.
And $1 million fine. I personally don't think this is what I'm hearing. I just don't think that this kind of punitiveness is what we need in America, and we have to get rid of it. Otherwise, we're going to die with no America. Here's some other elements. Here's a very light element. It's composed of lithium metal, as well as a alien element, a little heavier than hydrogen, but a little lighter than helium, also employed in this. It's used in secretive methods of propulsion. And
Gata, I can't read that out because I can't say certain words on the YouTubes. But I agree with you. There was, so in October of 2019, it was called, what is it? Event 201. And again, I have to talk about a lot of the stuff on Rumble. I can't talk about it here. I had my 4-hour Denver airport stream taken down by YouTube. YouTube said, nope. If it wasn't for it being on my StreamYards, I wouldn't have it. Like they took the stream from my YouTubes. Because out of a 4-hour stream, I was like, ooh, be careful eating that. Don't eat the ahi tuna. Like it's got a lot of lead in it. It's not good for you. It's not what I actually said, but you're picking up what I'm putting down. Took my entire stream down. Didn't give me a chance to edit it out. Nothing. I got this whole big lecture about approved bullshit and world organizations and blah, blah, blah. Even though at that time and since then, more and more shit has come out, that tuna was not effective and that tuna makes you sick and that tuna was bullshit. Yep. And Event 201 was like, what if a pandemic happens? What would we do? There's Event 201, and then you look at Bill Gates that motherfucker's concerning. It's all interconnected. It's all out there. If you stop and pay attention and look, and you shut out the outside noise of like, you're crazy. It's just a conspiracy theory. But just look, 1 + 1 = 2. Like, you can't tell me it doesn't.
It also is in a peculiar scalenohedral crystalline form. And anything scalenohedral, and by the way, a scalene triangle is...
Have a good night, Charlie. Thank you.
No side is equal to another side. The scalenohedral metallic crystalline structure is definitely an alien element. Our alien technology converted over to our own technology. These were given to me about a year ago. They're called alien or aurora drops. It's supposedly the skins of the black jets. Some of the ones that are coming in at very high rates of speed, they're still glowing red hot, white hot, and they all sit out there and cool off, and they're dripping their material off of them. And it's kind of like a rubberized coating. It's not rubber, I can tell you that. It's as hard as lava rock or harder, capable of withstanding tremendous temperatures, but nonetheless, some of it sloughs off every time, and so they just kind of scoop it up and throw it in the trash can. There are a few pieces of it. Here's one of the hardest so-called man-made rocks. Once again, it's got a number of alien counterpart. It's got an alien crystalline structure to it, very advanced. It's about 11 times harder than a diamond, about 70 times stronger than a diamond, capable of withstanding temperatures in excess of 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
I'm sorry, sir. Bro. Hammy said earlier when I asked him, the core of the sun is estimated to be 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. What the fuck? Why? My brain goes to why. For why? What things are we encountering that we need these materials to withstand these things? For why? And this is back in 95. I mean, sir, Phil Schneider, R.I.P. my dude. No wonder why they took him out. Oh my God. My flabbers are gasted. I've been watching Charlotte Dobre. My flabbers are gasted.
It is employed as very thin coatings or windows, tiny windows, in hypersonic aircraft that exceed Mach 5. Here's an interesting artifact. Right here in this hunk of rock, which by the way was an old 100,000-year-old chipping tool found in Syria, Jordan rather, excuse me, is a imprint of, it looks like a fossil, but it's not. It's an imprint of a small mechanical part with exactly 360 kind of little rotor blades. Well, this rock is 220 million years old. Who was making machines 220 million years ago?
The Anunnaki. The Anunnaki that made us in a lab. Enki and Enlil, God and the devil. That's who. What's that thing they found? It was some metal artifact. And they believe it's from like Atlantis or something, which Plato wrote about. And I guess I believe was a real place. I think there's a whole history to the earth we have not been made aware of. We're not privy to. And it employed ancient technology, not technology in the sense of like outlets and electricity and stuff, but like they knew how to harness the existing energy and electricity, right? Like stargates, all that kinds of shit. And it's been lost. Why do you think, why would they burn the libraries at Alexandria and shit? We lost all that information. It's been hidden, but a certain group of people knows about it.
Maybe Von Däniken was right after all, huh? Here we have an actual piece of agatized fruit, or it's similar to a lime. It's even been pecked by a bird at one time, and that's still there. So it's instantly turned to agate. It is the same agate or chemical structure as material found at Hiroshima and Nagasaki after the A bombings in World War II, where grasses and flowers and petals of flowers and other kinds of things were instantly petrified, turned to agate. It is the same identical crystalline structure. However, this particular piece is about 20 million years old, and it's still got its original green coating, and it's basically unchanged, perfect condition. Likewise, here's a garlic plant about somewhere between 20 and 35 million years of age, and once again, it's got that same pink agate coating. And here are some pieces of the metal skin from the crash disk at Roswell. It was given to me when I was 14 years old. My father was visiting one of his old friends in the Navy archives, as well as he was in the Royal Navy in England. And I, as a 14-year-old boy, I says, "Gee, Dad, can I ask Johnny something?" "Oh, go ahead, ask him. Get anything you can from him, that kind of thing." I says, "Well, gee, Johnny, well, do you think I can have a piece of this metal?" "Oh, no, you can't have that." And I says, "I'll give it to the kid. What the heck? He won't have it very long anyway." Well, I've had it all this time.
Ain't that some shit? That's just souvenir is like pieces of the ship from Roswell. Other kids are like, I got a t-shirt. Oh, Gata, don't even get me started on my Vatican spiel. Don't. The Vatican, the upper echelon of the Catholic Church. Evil satanic PDF files. Hammy says, my conspiracy theory regarding the burning of the Library of Alexandria is that it was done by the last of the Nephilim trying to get back into God's good graces. Yep. Oh, the New World Order is watching me, Kate. If I suddenly go missing, it was either it was the New World Order came and got me in my sleep. Y'all are gonna have to raise Winston's bail money. He keeps it in a little pouch on his ankle because he always needs it. He's a menace to society now. I don't know what to do with him.
It's kind of a unique thing. They were able to break the skin of that craft, by the way, by dropping it into a bath of liquid nitrogen, hitting it with a mechanical or hydraulic hammer, and it shattered into little bits. And it was later analyzed and adapted for our own technology.
Straight out of Catholicism, Capone.
All these artifacts are fine, but once again, the main part of this talk is, where's it all leading to? We get very little spin-off to where any of this is leading to. Occasionally we'll get a new computer or maybe a quartz watch or some little trinket kind of like giving the Indians beads a couple hundred years.
11 years later, the first iPhone came out. He only knew.
Years ago, well, we're getting these little spin-offs. But the black budget still rolls on, garnering up over $1 trillion every 2 years. It's somewhere between 1.023 trillion and 1.31 trillion dollars every 2 years. And every year it goes by and the black budget is unchecked, unaccounted for. It's just subverting our country. That's number one. Number two is that these underground military, first of all, if there was something like a nuclear war or there was a definite enemy out there where we were going to be under attack, like from China or someplace like that, I could see maybe a couple of dozen underground bases for a government, and so it could theoretically rise up like the phoenix out of the ashes. Well, not 131 of these. And if you were going to so-called round people up and put them in prison camps, what a better prison camp than underground, where nobody knows where it is anyway. So once again, these underground bases are most likely been planned as underground prison camps and slave labor factories for the New World Order.
Well, and I've seen, again, I can't find a lot of the stuff I used to watch on the YouTubes. And there's stories of people that are like, oh, yeah, I've worked underground. And there would be like different quarters for the aliens and separate quarters for the humans. And funny joke. My family, well, so when the X-Files first came out, no one really watched it. My family loved it. Like, we'd listen to Art Bell on AM radio whenever he was on, what was it, Friday, Saturday night. So we were like way into the X-Files before like it caught on. And there was one time I was like, hey, what was that show? And yeah, and instead of saying Scully and Mulder, I was like, it's Scummy and Moldy. And so that's what my family calls them. So if I ever say Scummy and Moldy instead of Scully and Mulder, that's why. But it's funny, Scummy and Moldy on the case.
New World Order, by the way, is getting, and I'm probably the only person ever talking about this, the New World Order is taking, and the United Nations is taking its orders from, believe it or not, these more powerful outer space alien entities. We might call them the large grays or the small grays. Sinister forces indeed. And you might want to say, well, gee, how come we don't see more of this kind of thing? Well, you can just imagine. If you're only being told 5% or less of the truth, that isn't very much to go on. That's one thing. Another thing is you don't find very many people coming up here and letting you have hands-on experience. I'm going to try and do this to you. However, I do ask you to go out and do your homework and keep doing it. Don't necessarily believe in what I'm saying, but get out there and...
See, I love that. And that's why I'm like, you don't have to believe this. Go do your own research. Like, I can only talk about so much on YouTube. But I like to have conversations and like people know about different things. And, I understand like some people don't believe in it at all. But there's a lot of weird shit out there. Yes, I know about the chronovisor and and trust me, y'all don't want to know what the Vatican has stored in their quote basement. Y'all don't want to fucking know.
And talk to people, whether it's just a couple of neighbors or friends or something. Get out there and talk, because one will tell two and two will tell four, and then pretty soon you have a whole room full of people that are in the know. And then from there,
Capone, behave. Capone, be good. Be good, Capone.
Wonders can work. Other than that, as far as changing the black budget and these clandestine programs, public opinion is only going to do that, and it's going to take millions of us. But we have to be informed, and to do that, we have to be doing what we're doing now, gathering and talking.
Sweetie, don't get upset. I know what you're saying, but I've got to be careful in what I say and what I show and what I allow in my chat with YouTube. Okay? If we were on Rumble, I wouldn't care. I've got to be careful with certain things, because they'll let someone get on stream and, go after somebody and call them a stupid motherfucker and all kinds of stuff. You say something like that, I could get struck. So that's all. Don't take it personal. I know you are not wrong, Capone, and I fully agree with you. Again, I am on a platform whose terms of service I have to abide by, which is why I work around things, and I agree with you, and I know what you're saying. So it's all good. I just removed that. Not a big deal. I didn't time me out. You know how we do here. This is the cool chat, Capone. Like, we chilling, we vibing. Duke says the chronovisor is said to have been built in secret by Father Pellegrino Maria Ernetti, an Italian Benedictine monk, scientist, and musicologist. Ernetti claimed to have combined modern physics with ancient occult knowledge to create the chronovisor, which could film the past without sound. He said he used the chronovisor to take a photograph of the crucifixion of Jesus and view scenes from Rome. Yep, exactly. And I think you can do stuff like that. Listen, Indiana Jones, I've said this time and time again. Indiana Jones movies, the bad no World War II people were in Egypt trying to find all these ancient relics. Has anyone, and it was the bad no people were very into the occult. It's not because they were fucking weird, and it's not because the items and the relics had any monetary value. It's because they had knowledge of how that shit worked and what the technology was. They laughed at bombs because they had planned to get their hands on that shit, and were like, fuck your bombs. I could do a whole stream on the bad no people in the occult. They knew what they were looking for and why they were looking for it.
And of course, most of us are adults and can weed out fact from fiction. Most of us are responsible adults and know the difference between fact and fiction and how to use it or how to abuse it. And so we therefore have to continue to keep studying and keep talking. if there's just me out there, and believe it or not, there aren't very many people like myself out there talking. I've given over 30 talks in the United States, Canada, Japan. Went over to England, into Japan, kind of illegal. Came back the same weekend. They flew me in and out, but gave a talk to a number of their execs, and they were very interested indeed. Now, if this is all a bunch of poppycock and hooey and poo-poo, I wouldn't be listened to, be given an audience by these people, but evidently I have. But 13 attempts on my life since the first of this year.
Jesus Christ. And I've heard other people say, like, they came into their house and, like, government agents will, like, spray something in there, like, on the walls, and it makes everybody sick and, like, kills them. And they've got very undetectable, nefarious ways of taking people out. Again, that girl on TikTok, young, healthy, beautiful, got too close to the truth about Diddy. And again, I doubt it was Diddy, but people around him that he's associated with and has dirt on. Because again, Epstein didn't kill himself. Ghislaine Maxwell went to prison. Okay, cool. What about all the clients? What about all the people that were requesting the menu items from them? Are any of them going to be held accountable? We going to look into that? No, because it's all bullshit. It's all politics. They all blackmail and bribe each other, whether it's that government stuff. And this is why he was taken out. You get too close to the truth and you speak the truth. How many people have come up with alternative forms of energy and water? Oh, next thing you know, had a heart attack at 38 years old, perfectly healthy. No, they got taken out.
There's a number of you ladies present, so I won't gore you out, but Al has seen some of the wounds, and there's a few other people that have been to a few of my other lectures, and they can attest that I have been shot. I've been run off the road. I've been pushed off the road. I've been mostly shot at and that kind of thing like that. But I've been in hand-to-hand combat with some of these people, and once again, I'm not in the best of shape anymore, but I still know how to handle myself. And I'm just about ready to wrap things up here, but just basically wanted to give you an overview of what's happening. And if we have any questions, we can start asking a few questions. Okay, here's a gentleman way over here. Would you please speak up loud? Yes, I was involved in 1979, in late August of 1979. I was involved working through Los Alamos Laboratories at Dulce, New Mexico, and what's now known as the Alien Human War. 66 Secret Service agents, government workers, geologists, and the like. I almost hit the dust. I could have been number 67. Lost their lives that day because the government lied and knew full well what was underneath. And what we'd done is, out in the desert there, we had drilled for.
Okay, so he's talking about the underground alien encounter in this part.
In a period of a couple of days, we drilled 4 of these holes that went down several thousand feet, and one of these holes kept bringing up dirty dust and putrefying odors and broken off machine bits and other kinds of things like that. And boring machines as well as lasers came up damaged. And of course, there was a probe that was sent down, and that came up totally missing. And so people were sent down there, and that was a lot of people. And when I got down there, of course, the odor was, and remember, I was in a spacesuit type environment. All I had was sensors, a small rock hammer, and a rucksack for mineral specimens and other kinds of things like that. And I had my little pistol. And being an engineer, didn't have time to carry a big hunk of pistol like most of these Green Berets carry, stuff like that, Black Berets. I carried a little Walther PPK with a 9-shot clip. As soon as I got down this hole, standing about from me to this gentleman over here in the front row, about 10 or so feet away, 7 feet away, something like that, was one of these 7-foot-tall stinking alien guys. And I didn't waste any time. I said, I'm not fiddling with you guys, and boom, away you go. And I was one of the rare few that had been allured that this may or may not occur, and so basically was given ET training. But a lot of these other people weren't. And we were, in fact, it was asked, are there aliens in the area? And of course, the big question was no.
It was asked. It was asked. Hey, yo, you want to send us in this hole? Cool. There are aliens down there? Nah, you're good, bro. So why would these guys ask? That tells me they were aware, because he said like Secret Service dudes, right? Some of them. So these are highly trained, upper level security, right? Government, military, police situation type deal agents. Why would they ask that if they weren't aware that aliens were a thing and it was a possibility? And why wouldn't they prep their people and be like, could be, I don't know, here, have this weapon. It's just like the government, send them down there blind, because you lose 50 guys, we can have another 50 by tomorrow. That's fine. Fuck their families and all that. Are you kidding me, bro? Oh, I know they're not going to be held accountable, dude. They never are, because that's how that works. Could you imagine? No, because the people in power won't let it happen. And it's the same with Diddy. I think Diddy became the new Epstein and already kind of was. And the lady that is suing him, her lawyers, her attorneys are incredibly smart, because they're not suing Diddy. They're suing his company, which kicks in the like insurance. So he can't say, I want to settle out of court, because it all goes through his like liability insurance for his business that is being sued. So it's up to the insurance company. He can't be like, no, I'll just settle out of court and pay her $10 million, whatever. He can't do that. So she was smart. She didn't sue him personally. She sued his companies. I love how we go all over the place in these streams, and I like that it's a small chat. So we're just like hanging out talking. Yeah. Hammy says the Dulce base is allegedly 7 stories deep. Level 6 is where the alien human hybrids are supposed to exist. No human has ever been on level 7 from what I've heard. Yep. There's a couple of those running around Kate Winslet. Kate Winslet says we already have footage of that alien human hybrid. Her name is Nell, and she lives in Virginia. Her, Swamp Barb. Another one I'm going to be talking about over the weekend. Dumb bitch. Oh, I can't wait to talk about her. It's going to be a good stream. And I don't give a fuck who gets mad. Oh, no. Look, I'm pointing out the obvious of what someone puts on their YouTube channel. I'm just watching clips of what this grown-ass woman chooses to say and do. Oh, no. Raven's such an ass. Fuck, I'm done. Don't tell me who I can and cannot talk about. Don't try to intimidate me. Y'all can kiss my ass and you know who you are.
And that was a big lie. And of course, 66 people died that day. I have a big hole in my chest. I lost
66. There's a lot of, listen, everything with these people is symbols, right? Symbology, numerology, all that stuff. Ooh, is he going to show his hand? His hand is the best. Not the best. You guys know what I mean.
So my lung was literally burnt out of me. My fingers burnt off of me. My toenails burnt off of me. My skin was, I was in radiation isolation therapy for 400 plus days. My bones were vitrified or burnt. I was cooked. I managed to survive. They're telling you something about it today. But other than that, I'm the only talking survivor. There are only 2 other survivors, and they're in nursing homes up in Canada. Canada refuses to allow the United States officials to talk to them. They're in very bad shape indeed. One of them can't talk, and the other one doesn't want to. So they're regarded as Canadian heroes, and so they're in.
So whatever they hit these dudes with was like, what can we even hypothesize what that would be? Is that microwave, laser? Sorry, I have to say it like Dr. Evil. What could even do that? Cooking people's bones from the inside out, ma'am. What the? Good question, Cabone. How do we know this dude isn't batshit? We don't. We don't. But I've seen enough liars and bullshit in my day. He told this story again and again, year after year, right? Never wavered from his fucking story. Had nothing to lose by telling it. Like, what is it? Betty and Barney, the interracial couple in like the 50s or 60s that talked about alien abduction. I was like, why? They're an interracial couple in the fucking 50s and 60s living in the South. Life is hard enough as it is. I highly doubt those two you were like, you know, it'd make life easier. Let's say we were abducted by aliens. This guy's vibe, this guy's energy, again, his body language, I believe he's telling the truth. We don't know. How do we know that any of these fuckers we listen to on YouTube sitting there talking about other people or trying to portray themselves to be? Why should we believe them? Why should we believe anybody? Oh, no, get out of my chat with Taylor Swift. Gotta. No, not Lucy and Desi. Barney and Betty. Was it Hill? I talked about them in a stream. Well-known couple, but I don't know. We don't know that he's not batshit. We don't know that he's not making this up. I believe he's telling the truth. Hammy says an ultra low UV ray around 240 nanometers could absolutely cook your bones. I got tagged by a 375 nanometer laser on my arm for less than a second and it burned like hell. Holy shit. See, Hammy, thank you for coming to my Spoopy streams and always sharing your amazing, Jesus fucking Christ. Sound like Walker here. Thank you for sharing your amazing knowledge with us. It adds so much, and I appreciate it.
Being kept by Canada. Okay, this fellow over here. Speak up loud. Okay, are there any bases? Actually, yes, there's several. In fact, as I was coming to this talk, I was supposed to be here by plane, but there was a subsequent follow-up. Anyway, I drove all the way and did it in one day. But as I was coming over up near Cheyenne, there I noticed the military, Air Force, and the Army are building a so-called new, in quote, boot camp, prison camp, right up in Cheyenne, brand new. And I was here 3 months ago. I wasn't there.
Watch out for them FEMA camps. I've heard time and time again. Watch out for them FEMA camp. They'll never put me in a FEMA camp. I will pack all the babies up in the Sorrento and we will drive out to the middle of the desert. I got some friends I can go with. No, ma'am. Shanova, welcome in. Oh, is Gata also Gigi? Okay. I know Gata. I love Gata. Gata's good people. Sean Nova, thank you so much for gifting one Raven Star membership. Capone Boxer. Welcome in, you little troublemaker. You know I love you. This is one of the few places you didn't get timed out or blocked. I'm just saying. Swing your wrenches around wildly. Yes, Gata is everyone and everywhere. Exactly. Thank you so much, Sean Nova. I appreciate you, your support, and for being here. You are the best. Hammy, explain it to me like I'm 3. Because Hammy said, I was trying to align the 375 nanometer laser through optics to be 10 microns tall by 50 microns wide for a job. I'm telling you, Hammy's the smartest person I know. Yeah, she did that one time, Capone, but she only does it for a few seconds. It's because that's what she does. She always times your mama out in Belinda's chat, too. It's a humor thing. The difference is that it's not malicious. You know what I mean? I think we can agree on that. It's for shits and gigs. Listen, we're going to forgive it because Kate Winslet made me a fucking Jedi. Lest we forget, I'm a Jedi, beach. Not the Taylor Swift talk. Stop it. I'm not going to go there. A managing mod. Wow. Oh. Stop. Leave Capone alone. 10 seconds. It's all love here. Listen, no one's going to time you out for 5 minutes. No one's going to block you. Right? It's like it's all in jest. It's all in fun. It's because we all realize how you were treated in other chats, and all my mods, who are a large part of them are my friends, realize I don't play that shit, and I'll put the fucking kibosh on it. I'll pull wrenches midstream if I have to. You know, I don't play with that shit. And it's like everyone's welcome here. I get it. People don't like each other. You know what you do? Be a fucking adult and ignore the other person, or you can block them. It's not that fucking difficult. I don't think anyone's mods and anyone's chat should be taking out their personal vendettas on any person and then run away crying. Oh, because you got called out for it. Grow the fuck up and log off.
So it's something brand new. In Colorado, yes, there's about 4 underground bases, one being Denver International Air Base. I call it Air Base, spaceport, or whatever you want to call it. Denver International Airport. No wonder your luggage gets lost. There are 8 levels underneath the airport, tarmac there, in quote tarmac or cement mac. And so those bags could be there for a damn long time. Why, just imagine if this was instantly turned to agate 30 or more million years ago, those bags could very well be the same way. So, yeah.
I'm sorry, did he say there's 8 levels below the Denver airport? I fucking believe it. Because watching a lot of the streams, which I still have that playlist, you have to go in the comment section. There's one dude that's like, I helped build these, and they would change like construction companies every couple months for the Denver airport. And like, it's just fucking, the Denver airport is weird, and they play into it because, of course, right? Just like we're told, oh, your third eye is bad. Oh, people aren't psychic. It's all bullshit. No, dude. Why do you think the fucking Vatican and places like CERN have so much pine cone symbolism? Because the pine cone is a symbol for your pineal gland, which is said to be your third eye and the source of our like natural psychic abilities, quote unquote, that we all have. We are eternal spiritual beings. These meat suits are temporary. But the wardens don't want us to. Do you think it's better that the population of a prison is taught and led to believe they are powerless and insignificant? Or do you think that's better? And do you think maybe it would be detrimental if we actually knew what we were capable of? I'm going to just ask yourself.
Yeah, there's a number of them, and I wish I had a map with me. In fact, in subsequent talks, I'll have a map, which will be put on the overhead. In fact, my next talk, I plan to have just that. I had planned to bring a map here and had all the latitudes and longitudes of all the bases, and I can't do that. That would be a nice jail sentence for me, so I didn't bring it. So, but other than that, I'll have that all researched for you. Yes, this one.
Hey, Potato. Hey, Astro. Right? This makes sense. Why are there so many escalators if there aren't things below? It's just, and it took long. It took years longer, right? So much luck. And I've seen stuff saying that like Denver is essentially the new capital of the country. It's the new DC because of all the underground stuff and like the tunnels that lead to places like Dulce and all, the elites and the politicians can go sequester themselves inside the mountains and shit while we're stuck up top in nuclear winter or zombie apocalypse or whatever. And that essentially Denver is the new capital, and like every government entity is required to have like an office there or like a headquarters or something there. I have to look into it further.
Yes, there. As far as there being an inner Earth, a hollow Earth, or anything like this, no, I've never run into anything like that. However, Al Bielek has been on these tunnel trains at the better part of Mach 2, going from coast to coast in an hour and a half, faster than any jet plane that we got, including.
Bitch, can I get in on that? I hate flying. I refuse to fly. If I'm going to go anywhere, I'm going to drive. A burb had blood clots. No, ma'am. I hate flying. It is so painful and uncomfortable for me. Coast to coast in an hour and a half at Mach 2. Can I bring a latte? And Winston has bail money. Let's go.
The SST.
Of course, if Chantel got on that, they'd be like, we can only go Mach 1. We're too heavy.
They're about the same rapid speed. But I helped build a lot of these tunnels, and all of the underground mountain or military bases are connected. All of them. All 131 of them. They're connected both by road, not a big freeway under there, but it's at least a 2 to a 4 lane road, rather narrow lanes, but they're there, and they're also high-speed magneto-leviton train tunnels. Yes, this lady over here. Stand up and speak up, please. What levels of military personnel know about this? Most of the levels of military know about this, especially at higher levels, higher officer levels. The enlisted, I'm sure, don't, or basically kept in the dark like we are, end quote, we are. So, yeah.
They're not going to tell the grunts and the jarheads. Come on.
Yeah. This fellow right here with the hat. Adam. Well, there's 131 of them in the United States, 127 of them in the lower 48. There's some in Canada. I'm not counting those. And some in northern Mexico. I'm not counting those either. They average about 4.25 cubic miles.
So 131 in the continental U.S., right? So that's not including Alaska and Hawaii. So 48 states. That's like 2 or 3 a state, give or take.
Miles hollowed out underground and average.
In 1995, I'm sure there's more.
Average depth of 5,700 feet underground. Average cost $17 to $31 billion each. They employ anywhere from 1,800 to 10,000 people. And some very large ones now being built in Sweden, one of which is repudiated to be 30 cubic miles. It will take 5 years to build that one at a cost of about $2 trillion.
I bet that didn't have anything to do with CERN. Insert sarcasm here. CERN. I am concerned about CERN. CERN is so wrong. So wrong. Oh, yes, John Todd. Yes. Duke. I like you, Duke. Yes, John Todd. Yeah, he was a part of the families. And yeah, I'll have to research and stuff. Again, a lot of stuff is no longer on YouTube. Starting to find it on Rumble. Can't always talk about stuff. So these aren't like super popular streams anyway, which I really don't fucking care about because I want to talk about what I want to talk about. And this shit is like my passion. It interests me. Cows are great and whatever, but might have to talk about that over there. I need to get my Rumble set up to stream over there. If Nags can figure it out, so can I.
And that's all being supplied by the United Nations. Yes. Anybody over here? No. This gentleman. Speak up, please. Okay, you want to know exact locations of all these? Well, for where all of your Army, Marine Corps, Navy, and Air Force bases are, they're with all the present, not the ones closed down. And by the way, the closed down bases are now being used for gasoline storage and equipment storage and these kind of things. So they're not really closed down yet. Boot camps, in quote, boot camps and all this kind of stuff. So-called prisoner camps and these kind of things. Right now, our police, for instance, are being trained by the Air Force and the Army intelligence in martial law research, as they call it. How dare they call that by that name? So where these are, where every one of these strategic bases are now in Colorado, in around Denver, there's 3 of them, and they're fairly small. Some of these bases are only maybe 2,000 to 3,000 feet in depth. Some of them were built a long time ago, back 35, 40.
Hammy, I don't understand what this means. If you think DUMBs, deep underground military bases, are an insane idea, the official level for biosafety labs goes up to BSL 4. I can guarantee you that there are BSL labs that go way beyond that. I don't understand what that means. Explain it to me like I'm 3.
Years ago, and they're only maybe 500 feet, and they're mostly for equipment storage. Denver, and then there's Fort Collins. There's also Colorado Springs area has a number of. By the way, Colorado Springs is kind of a famous area. Nikola Tesla's laboratories were in Colorado Springs, and need I say more? I'll leave that up to.
It's the energies, baby. Like everyone goes to the energy vortexes, and what is it, New Mexico now? And I'm like, don't want to go there anymore. Y'all fucking ruined it. You fucked up the energy. I can feel it from here. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. And I've got to remember that, because I got to remember my energy, who and what and how I am. Because it's not always easy sitting up here talking about this stuff, whether it's aliens, locals in the community nobody wants to talk about, but I'm going to be the asshole that talks about them. Tune in Sunday.
Albilik. As far as Nellis Air Force Base, there's 9 underground mountain bases in Nellis Air Force Base. That's in Nevada. It's north of Las Vegas. There's going to be a UFO show and conference in Mesquite here later on this month, and that's up very close to, in quote, Area 51. That whole area, by the way, the state of Nevada is 81%, in quote, managed or owned by the federal government.
I told you it was like 80 or 90%. A bird knows what she's talking about. Told you.
Land is either restricted or run by the federal government. That's why there's groups rising as we speak, dealing with the problem very vociferously, and senators are now getting involved. So evidently, waking up is occurring. Yes, this gentleman over here. Speak up, please.
I don't know about the trees being twisted out of the ground, Duke. That might be a different place, but the energy vortexes in New Mexico where you go and you can feel the energy. Taos, New Mexico, I think it was. I have no desire to go because fucking Instagram and TikTok made it all popular. So everyone flocked there, and I can just listen. I'm an energy reader. Believe me or don't. I really don't care. I know what I experience. We'll talk more. We'll talk more on the Discord. DM me. Shanova coming through. Gifting another membership. Chris Ryan. Good old Chris Ryan. Welcome back to Spoopy Burbs. Thank you again so much, Sean Nova. Appreciate you. Hammy says BSL 5 plus labs are built on isolated islands. They are set with built-in vacuum bombs in case something escapes. Oh, some like Resident Evil shit. Well, that's all you had to say. Listen, if Hammy can figure out what I meant by lobster doctor, shout out to Mick. We're gonna do another Shuck Show soon because that Shuck Show was fucking hysterical. Hammy can figure out anything. Thank you so much. Yeah. And thank you again, Sean Nova.
Okay. Yes, they are. The gentleman asked, are these tunnels connected to large caverns? Yes, these large bases are basically like this Coliseum. Everything's underground. Everything's a city underground. Most of these bases both have military bases, and they have all the accoutrements of life. Remember, each one of these costs quite a bundle of dough, and some of it in our tax money, but most of it in clandestine approaches, and that's definitely undermining the country. Yes. Well, some of them have a difficulty in understanding our language. It's too slow to them. If you've heard whale songs or bird chirpings at high speed, it's about what the...
Or Jasper hearing another dog bark. He screams. Jasper screams. I will try to record it on a YouTube short and upload it to my channel. He screams. He's a very vocal pibble. He can't help it. He screams.
These aliens sound like audibly to us, so it's a bunch of gibberish. Yes, they've slowly actually broken down. There's 11 prototypes that are 11 civilizations of aliens visiting this planet all the time, all of which are known by the U.S. military. 9 of which are not very good in data. They're pretty bad news. 2 of which are benevolent, but the benevolent ones have supposedly left. They have their own little war of sorts, especially the Pleiadian groups and whatnot like that, of which Val Thor was repudiated to be a Venusian, but other people will alert he looks more like a Pleiadian. He looks a normal human, except he's got 6 fingers and toes.
He's speaking of Valiant Thor, who was an alien that was working with the U.S. government in the 60s. That's who he means by Thor. Not like Chris what's-his-face and, but that's who he means by Thor. Valiant Thor. Which I tried researching him for a stream one night. I couldn't find anything that was, like, good and usable.
One oversized lung, he's got 2 hearts, he's got all kinds of weird stuff. Bones are bigger. Yep.
Oh, yay!
The man asked, do I tie in the alien agenda to the New World Order? Yes, sir, 100%.
Yep.
I can elaborate briefly. The New World Order right now basically is dismantling countries, governments, telling governments not to war with each other anymore, basically, so that looks good on the outside. They're taking their orders directly from the aliens, and they've got their own timetable. They want the one world order because they want the planet for themselves. And, of course, you've often heard the term Global 2000, and that's a supposed sinister plot, or has been a group of sinister plots to produce biological weaponry to reduce or thin out the so-called ethnic cleanse the population of the planet by 5/6, or roughly 5.
Oops. Accidentally released that man-made bioengineered shit a couple years ago. Accidentally released it on purpose. Whoopsie-doo. Create the problem, present the solution. Here, eat this ahi tuna. You'll be fine. Sterility and death. Wow, look at that. Some weird shit.
5 of 6 billion people, enslaving the rest to work willy-nilly with the so-called people of the New World Order. Now, another peculiar thing is the alien agenda is not really well believed nor understood by a lot of these one-worlders. They don't believe it. They think they've been singled out for their own end of glory, and what they don't know is they're just another human being, and according to the negative or bad aliens, they're just another, we're considered bags of food to them. They don't eat us like we think of a cannibal eating a hunk of meat, but they use our glandular secretions as part of their food base, their blood and our glandular secretions like adrenochrome and other kinds of things like this. And
What to do? First off, girl, not the secretions, girl. My victorious secretions. What am I always saying? What am I always talking about? All these people go missing. They're harvesting shit. Adrenochrome. It. Telling you. The secretions. I told you it was all about the secretions, y'all. Secretions.
And in fact, the Atlanta Center for Disease Control has figured out ways that we can combat this and all this kind of thing like that. It might be where these new designer diseases like AIDS and Ebola and hantavirus and all these kinds of things have come up out of nowhere. And these diseases.
Yeah, we can thank that same doctor for the AIDS virus. There's a whole documentary on it. Dr. Focaccia. That man should be in prison for crimes against humanity. I don't like focaccia bread. And his focaccia bread, not safe to ingest.
End quote, almost have a mind of their own. That's this lady here. Okay, lady asked, is the tunnel building having an effect with?
I would like everyone to look at Duke's comment because what he said is true. Why do you think with like hauntings and some people, there's a school of thought that demons are really just aliens and aliens are demons. A negative entity is a negative entity. One, humans are highly sought after because we have souls, right? They don't understand the whole thing with like how we have souls, and it's what differentiates us from a lot of other life forms on this plane of existence, right? We have souls, but we don't understand it. We don't understand our potential, and it's like I said, there's a lot of shit we don't know because it's been withheld from us and we are taught otherwise. And if you do believe it, you're made fun of and you're called crazy, which yeah, I don't care. But yeah, what Duke said is 100% on the money. Hauntings, oppressions, suppressions, possessions, because again, there's levels to that shit. Negative energy is like filet mignon to a negative entity. They feed on that shit. Again, he's right. They don't feed on us like, oh, I'm gonna barbecue a leg and go to town. No, it's the secretions, right? The adrenochrome, all that stuff, whatever. A lot of these, the SRA, trigger warning. A lot of SRA is they scare the person because they release adrenaline. It's a whole thing. They harvest the adrenochrome, all that stuff. It's some dark shit. And I believe it's all true.
Earthquakes, yes, it could very easily be, although got to remember a lot of these underground bases are constantly being repaired, and so a lot of people have to be hired. As far as the U.S. government, the second part of her question was U.S.
Again, I would like to direct you to Duke's comment in the chat. You're exactly right. Duke, I'm going to DM you on the Discord because I have some friends that I'm going to DM you, okay?
government modifying our weather? Yes, that's an affirmative. And we have the U.S. government's been working with the Russians for at least since 1972 and maybe as early as 1966 on weather modification, and it's a well-known fact, and it's well employed. And by the way, they can literally.
Did y'all see that shit in Dubai where they have a whole fucking control room and cloud seeding and controlling the weather? And Dubai got flooded. Did y'all see that shit? I hate it here. I want to go home. This is the worst summer camp ever. I'm only here for the lattes and the dogs and the tacos.
Weather modify a hurricane or a tornado out of existence. And the reason they don't do it is pretty obvious. Yeah, right. Or they could actually send a plane inside of a hurricane, for instance, that would blow off an atmospheric bomb or a shockwave bomb in the eye of the thing. It would completely dissipate. Well, they don't do this, of course. And there's probably other reasons for that, to see which way it goes or what kind of havoc and how we can study the havoc, and we go from there. This fellow way in the back in the black. How do we learn more about our general topic? Well, there's this particular fellow. His name is Richard Souter, PhD. He wrote a book recently, Underground Bases and Tunnels, What is the Government Trying to Hide? That is one book. Then we have here's a popular science article, Secret Air Base. The government doesn't want you to know that Groom Lake, supposedly Groom Lake doesn't exist. Well, I guess if it doesn't exist, then me talking about it, I guess I can't be arrested or anything. I'm just full of poppycock here. Well, the editor, one of the editors of Popular Science who put this article out is now in federal prison. Then there's a book that...
And did y'all see that interview with that guy, worked for the CIA or whatever? Basically saying, oh yeah, we can like coerce people and blackmail them and put them in prison for whatever, and yeah, we can do whatever we want to people. I'm not saying Alex Jones wasn't off of his rocker a little bit, but Alex Jones was also onto and saying a lot of things they didn't want him to say. I'm not saying everything was right. I'm not saying he wasn't wrong. I'm not saying he got a little manic. But he was one of the people that they mentioned they targeted. So, free Julian Assange.
Oh, stealth fighter pilot. These books are available. I got this one at Dalton's. This one actually was sent to me by the publisher. I did some test piloting, and the only thing I test piloted was would run the aircraft back and forth on the runway, the special runways we built at Groom Lake. There's a picture of me right, in uniform. And I can go on. And these publications.
Hammy, I'm familiar with the pupusas. I like a bean and cheese pupusa. They're fucking delicious. Sorry, I'm not even reacting to this. I'm just like, food?
They're out now, and they're available. Yes, this lady over here.
Yeah. So what did he say? The editor of the magazine that talked about this base that doesn't exist. Oh, federal prison. Yeah. Isn't it weird how these people end up silenced in one way or another? They're labeled as crazy. They're silenced and put in prison. They're taken out. Like, again, there was a lot of propaganda and censorship about, like about 4 years ago. Can't think of what happened. Don't put anything in chat, please. But do you remember during that time, you couldn't come on to Twitter and say your honest thought. Now, granted, platforms like YouTube and Twitter have a terms of service. And you have to work within those terms of service. Like, I can't say certain things. However, the line was back then and is still blurred between abiding by the terms of service, the rules of a social media platform, right? It's no different than if you walk into Target. You can't be walking around Target butt ass naked. Okay, you got to put clothes on. Cool. But they can't tell you what kind of clothes you have to wear, right? Like, do you get the difference I'm trying to point out? And back then, like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, if you stated your opinion, and the lines are getting blurred once again, because I can disagree with certain social points. It doesn't mean it's hate speech or I'm hateful. It just means I disagree with this part of it, but I agree with this part of it. And I loved when everyone lost their shit. Oh my god. I'm deleting my Twitter account. Elon Musk. Girl, I was so fucking excited. I was like, yes, Daddy Elon. I was so fucking excited when he took over Twitter. Anyway, my point was there's a lot of propaganda, right? Still to this day, there's a lot of weird shit going on in society, certain agendas being pushed where I'm like, this is the point where we're at. Leave the kids alone, keep shit out of schools. Don't police my language. I don't have to agree with you, but that doesn't mean I can't be respectful. And it doesn't mean I disagree with all of it, but I can disagree with part of it. Again, nuance. There's levels to this shit. But they've all got us fighting with each other over dumb shit. Meanwhile, while we're fighting over dumb shit, they're doing whatever the fuck they want. I need to stay off Twitter. I've been seeing some shit lately. I'm like, oh, okay, that's where we're at. Starting to make me bitter.
I can't hear you. What?
I agree, Capone.
Okay. Okay, that's kind of a mixed bag question there. She asks, with martial law being called, precious metals and all these kinds of things. First of all, hoarding anything will be outlawed. If you hoard food, have a radio, any way of communicating, stash gasoline, these kind of things, you'll just be rounded up down by the end of it. Martial law is martial law. Martial law is dictatorship of the worst form, or one of the worst forms. And her other part of the question, if I got it right, was when's the alien takeover? Well, the alien takeover right now is, and probably will be for probably the next 20, maybe 30, 40 years, will be basically in the background. The idea is to get the one world beast-like government order in place, and to thin out the population of the planet. And then, of course, then all heck will break loose from then on. And whether it is, I don't often mix Bible and talk, but some people have alerted, well, this is already mentioned in the Bible, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. Well, that may be, but all I can tell you is I've been face to face with one of these sinister characters, or a couple of them, saying the least, and most people would, just the shock of them seeing such a thing would cause them to not be in very healthy mode, frame of mind, as physical as well as mental. This man here.
Catatonic. I talk about this shit. I've talked to people that have experienced shit. I watch, I read all kinds of stuff. If I was going to Starbucks and I saw some like 8-foot tall alien of any species, I don't know that I wouldn't shit myself and go catatonic, because like the thought of it is one thing, envisioning it is one thing. To have that thing standing right in front of you, ma'am, I don't know if I'd be okay. And I try to treat Twitter as like, it's a way to be like, oh, hey, I'm streaming or whatever, interact with people. There are people on Twitter I've interacted with for years and who I love dearly, like Anne with an E. Oh my God, I love her so much. Shaking but not stirred cat. Love her so much. I try to take in information. But I'd rather talk about certain things on different platforms. I try to just kind of like cruise, and whether it's Gore World, political stuff, social, whatever. I'm not one of those people where I feel that, like, I'm not talking about anyone here. There are certain people that are like, every thought I have and I'm going to wake up and who am I going to go at it with on Twitter today? And da-da-da. And there are people that troll around looking for problems, right? Because they are a problem. It's Twitter, things like Twitter, it's a tool, right? And you don't always need a hammer. I do find it funny that, and I never fucking tweet about Breezy. I never talk about Breezy, right? Put out a tweet about Breezy today, and I'm like, Breezy's gross, Niall's gross. They're both unhinged. Within 2 minutes, that bitch responded. I was like, they can both like fuck off. Within 2 minutes, I didn't tag her, no hashtag, nothing. Within 2 minutes, this crazy bitch fucking responded to it and was like, or you could first, or some dumb shit. And then deleted it, but I had taken a screenshot. And I'm like, and then she's like, oh, I got exposed because someone else caught it too. And I was like, girl, get help. Like, Breezy is so fucking unhinged. But she's not who I'm going to be talking about.
Here in Blue Coat.
Have a good day, Julie.
Well, it's a combination. What technology is used to build these underground bases? Well, we have lasers that can drill out or basically deflagrate or melt out a tunnel 7 miles a day. And that tunnel...
Oh, my God. Keep in mind, I live in mining country. If you look up Virginia City, Nevada, it's an old mining town. That's where they like found a shit ton of silver. It financed the building of San Francisco after the big earthquake. Fun fact. That to me is wild because I'm very like familiar with the history and like the equipment and all the accidents and how long it took them and how dangerous it was. 7 miles a day? Jesus Christ.
Is 28 feet wide, 28 feet high. You've been told about drilling and boring machines in a very slow, quarter of a mile a day. Most of that went out of World War II. Most of that's all World War I or World War II era materials. And once again, you've been badly lied to. I can hardly believe it. First of all, I've worked on public engineering projects, and we do better in grinding up road beds and laying them down at the rate of 4 miles a day. And supposedly that doesn't exist. Well, I worked on one, in the state of Oregon just a few months ago. And we built a tunnel for a sewage tunnel and whatnot like that. It wasn't very big. It was about 6 feet across. So I drilled right through solid rock, right to the base of under one of the hills in Portland for their new light rail. Did that in 2 days.
Jesus. Whoa. Like, if you have any concept, that's bonkers, dude. And this is years ago. So hearing this and just say, yeah, they have this shit is true. Yeah, I even more so believe there's a system of underground tunnels. Oh my God. Duke, yes, I am familiar with Lovelock. I have not been yet. I want to go. But I might have a person I can go with because that's like tribal land, tribal area. So I'm trying to hook up with a friend or an acquaintance that can like drive with, like I'll drive out there or meet me out there, that I could get like maybe better access to it and film it for you guys. But yes, I'm very familiar with Lovelock, the Giants, the Cave. And fun fact, that is when OJ got convicted for his bullshit in Vegas. That's where he was. There's a big prison out there. But yes, I'm very familiar. And they used to have like parts of the skeleton, like the skull, in a museum out there. Yeah, not anymore.
But it was a small, complex tunnel. It was big enough for a man to crawl through and inspect. And I was one of the people who inspected, so yeah. What technology? A lot of this is alien technology, readapted for our own use, but a lot of it's our own ingenuity too. So you can bet, how can you tell alien technology? Well, anything that's just absolutely outlandish, like taking a oxyacetylene welding torch and trying to cut into this metal and getting nowhere, obviously, with the metals research, aircraft research and the like, and different tools and products, which things that are many times the hardness of diamond or known hardened substances like boron. Obviously, that's nothing that we came up with on our own, but we could have over a several hundred-year period. But you've got to remember, too, that the military technology is outstripping the public sector technology at the rate of 44 to 45 years of technology for every calendar year, every 12-month calendar year here. So every year going by this time in 1996, the military technology will be roughly 45 years more advanced than where we are today. So it's quite possible that way back in 1943, the U.S. Navy not only caused the ship to disappear, it literally disappeared and
Philadelphia experiment. I've heard and watched some horrific stuff about that too. Like they made it disappear and they didn't know where they were. Some jumped off of the ship. And when it did reappear, like some of the guys were like in like metal beams and like some let me write down the Philadelphia experiment. It was a great movie. I love Aidan Quinn. Is it Aidan Quinn? Philadelphia experiment. Yeah, we could maybe. My only concern with going out to Lovelock is I don't know what the terrain is like. It'd have to be in the fall. It's just too fucking hot during the summer. My worry is like the terrain out there. I don't know what it's like. I'd have to look into that. Because if it's like with my spine and stuff, it's, my legs and I have a handicap placard. And again, I only utilize it when I need it. Needed to use it today, right? I had some like nerve pain and like fatigue. Park in the handicap spot. Put my placard hanging on my little rear view. I drive an SUV. I get out and I go around to the other side of my car to get my little shopping bag. And this crotchety old man's walking by. And he looks and he points and he goes, "Oh, yeah, you look real handicapped." Fucking excuse me? And I said, "Well, I am. My doctor of 20 years thinks I am. And I've got the placard." He stops, takes a step towards me. I put my hand in my purse and I look at him and I go, "I'm also very armed." How fucking dare you? I was like, "Sir, don't." Please remember, not everyone's disability and health or physical issues are visible. I don't care that I don't look like I'm disabled or that I need to utilize the parking. And again, if I don't need to, I don't utilize it. That guy is so lucky I did not stick my foot up his ass.
Here. Basically, military technology right now is about 1,200 years more advanced than public state technology. And computer technology right now,
I'm going to hold you to that, Duke.
It's off the scale. I can't tell you. It's just right now, and employing just in black jet and stealth aircraft, the new computers are so completely advanced that we couldn't get them in the public sector for maybe another 40 or 50 years. Yes, this lady here. Well, the lady asked with the slave labor camps, the old, the infirm, the handicapped, are they going to be executed? And will there be executions? You can bet your bottom dollar there actually will be these things.
Have any of you watched The Man in the High Castle? Delta, I would save you if I could. I love you, Delta. It's on Amazon, The Man in the High Castle. That show, I never finished watching it because it freaks me out so bad. That is it freaks me out. And the whole premise of the show is like it's an alternate reality that if like Germany and Japan would have won World War II and Japan controls everything west of the Rockies are neutral territory, and Germany controls everything east of the Rockies, and it follows people on like both sides. People figure out how to get to the other reality, ours, where we won World War II, which I don't really think we did. I think a truce was called, or there's some fuck shit going on. Anywho's, it's on the German side. There's one character's son. He's like 16. He gets diagnosed with like a disease that is progressive, and he's labeled as a useless eater. Right? The old, the sick, the infirm. And before this disease even takes hold, they know he's going to turn into a useless eater. And he very happily goes off with German soldiers to have his life, to be euthanized, basically. That, The Man in the High Castle, I never finished watching it. I don't even know if it's still on Amazon Prime. If you're into all this kind of stuff, like the spoopy conspiracy, like something's not right, what the fuck's going on kind of shit, go watch that show. It is fucking trippy.
I wish I knew more, but I don't. I have my own agenda to kind of keep up and talk about. But other than that, yes, I would imagine so. If you look at all the 39 prison camps that are presently built, they're called boot camps, by the way. And of course, these new trains that they have that have 143 shackle placements per train, they're a scary thing indeed. You know what they're called? They're called United Nations Prisoner Transfer Cars. Oh, that's an appropriate name, I guess. Well, we got to wrap it up here. They're telling me it's time. I'll take one more question. This lady over here. No brainwash you. They don't brainwash you. How do they brainwash 18,000 people that are working? Well, you sign this little piece of paper saying you work, you go to prison for the rest of your days. Or you're not going to be taking home a paycheck of about anywhere from $4,000 to $40,000 per month, depending upon your position. $40,000 a month is a lot of petunias. Okay, well, I got to wrap it up here, folks. So I'll be.
Bitch, where do I sign? I already know the aliens are here. I can come, like, type, so you need someone to handle your social media. I do YouTubes. Pay me $40,000 a month. Winston, we ain't ever got to worry about bail money again, baby. Mommy's got you covered.
Over in Al Felix booth. I think it's over in booth number 125. I can take other questions there and let you take a look at artifacts. And once again, on these artifacts, in a very few minutes, don't handle them, just look at them.
All right. So there you go. Phil Schneider. I believe him. I believe it's true. Ooh, they have 4 seasons on YouTube. Delta, not at all. Listen, you guys, Delta works hard. She's a fabulous human being. I love her so much. I'm so grateful she's a part of my community and someone I'm getting to know. And I just really, really love you, girl. She works her ass off. She's a wealth of knowledge. Delta, you are always welcome to come in here. And we are all more than happy to cheer you on and support you through your workday, girl. Wow. It was a lot of information, huh? Ooh, my Wi-Fi signal's dipping down. Oh, and my computer wants to update. Great. Oh my God. It's like, hi, I'm orange. Hot girl shit. Whoo. Yes, we stand Delta. Oh. I know when he says bye, it does hit different because this was his last speech and he was dead like a month and a half later. and how he even survived that attack is, I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of things I question in this world. Like, I've always questioned things, even as a child. I always describe it as like, that scene where it's dark and there's like 100 people looking up at a big movie screen. And I've always been the one person looking around me like something's not right. So, and I like to talk about it and explore because I'll find out one day when I pop out of this meat suit, I'm not going into the light. Don't go into the light. That's a soul trap. You'll shoot right back down here into another body. Because again, they use this for energy. But believe what you want. Whew, there's a lot more we're going to talk about. We're back on the Spoopy streams, BB. I love a Spoopy stream. Again, I don't care that they're not quote unquote popular and that there's not 100 people in here. I don't want there to be 100 people in here because I like this. I like it's chill. There's like a couple of us in here. Like we can really have a conversation. Like everyone's welcome, but Sean Nova. Sean Nova. Yes, Duke. Duke got the membership. And I tend to talk about, a lot of the weird stuff on channel memberships. I owe you guys one more before the end of the month, which I've got it. Okay, listen, I'm doing a stream on Sunday, right? It's gonna make some waves. I'm gonna ruffle some feathers, but fuck it. I am beholden to nobody and I'm a commentary channel, right? I'm a reaction and I'm a commentary channel. I talk about people and shit on the internet. And it's high time I talk about this person because I'm done. And I don't get it and I'm done. And people can get mad and this person's going to freak out and come after me. It's going to be a good goddamn time. You don't want people to talk about shit on the internet? Don't put your shit on the internet. Amazing. I know. I know. Thank you so much. Again, Sean Nova for gifting memberships. And I hope everyone enjoyed it. Do we have any suggestions? Because I wrote down a lot of stuff, right? I wrote down John Todd and his connection to one of the Illuminati families was brought up. Antarctica and aliens. The Philadelphia experiment. Emerald tablets of Thoth. Again. Sean Nova. Maggie Doll, welcome to Spoopy Burbs. Thank you so much, Sean. You're too good. You're too good to me. You're too good. Too good. I appreciate it. Yes, Sean Nova is awesome. And thank you guys for being so kind and welcoming Duke into the community and into the Discord. This is what? His makeup set that Cobes is taken. Capone, we've been doing our best to console her. We're helping her through it. My friend Mick the Cornball streams about King Cobes, has been, will continue to do so. That's her cow. And we all joke around and we're like, Mick, we all know you love Cobes. We all know you're in love with them. So now we razz her about Jessica stole your man. It's fun. So before we leave, Sunday, I'm stirring the pot. Which really all I'm going to do is show shit that's already on this person's channel, but you know how it goes. You're not allowed to talk about certain people. Go fuck yourself. I am Burb. I do what I want. I don't care. Ooh, fancy feet pics. Yes. I love that Mick changed her channel logo to a picture of her as a foot. That bitch texted me that in the middle of the day. No explanation. I just get a picture of my best friend and my hetero life mate as a foot. And I'm like, this bitch. This dish. Oh my God. We'll find out. Well, y'all gonna have to find out on Sunday. And this person, again, this person is gonna get wind and is gonna probably come into my chat and lose their shit. Listen, contingency plans and all kinds of shit are already in place. I'm prepared. I'm organized. I gotta write down some notes. Cause I actually put yes, Duke. Yes, my hetero life mate. See? You know. Mm, no, I wouldn't say anyone dogpiles or attacks me, and I don't care if they do at this point. I've had so much shit said about me, and fucking people dip out on me, and people try to tell other people I was responsible for shit I wasn't responsible for, and it's all just YouTube bullshit. Because again, I've been in these YouTube streets for nearly a decade, and I'm just to a point. I don't give a fuck. Say what you want, think what you want. I'm going to talk about who and what I want. And when there's some fuck shit going on, because we call people out, right? Even people we like. Well, I don't like this person, but that's besides the point. You'll have to show up on Sunday to see who it is. And no, I'm not putting their name or picture in my thumbnail. So the tea will be here piping hot on Sunday. Piping hot. I think the majority of you guys are going to be like, yes, you're talking about this bitch. And I'm going to be like, it's about fucking time somebody did. But, I am taking on my role as the designated asshole. Oh my God. Ham and beans, gifted 10 amazing Raven Star memberships, BB. BSJ, Pagan Ways, Kala, Cree, Diane again, Zesty Lemon Balm. I love that name. Oh, Buttered Crumpet, shake him out the tree, girl. Thumbelina, Vintage Camera Girl. Welcome back to Spoopy Burps. Well, and understand, like, I know Buttered Crumpet, is over there at Sam's, and that's fine. Listen, I get it. I get it. Even this person I'm talking about on Sunday, we have a little bit of a crossover shared audience. Go where you want to go. Support who you want to support. Like I always say, just let's be honest about who you're supporting and what they're about. So, Pacific Standard Time, Capone. So, I plan on 1 p.m. for the West Coast. So, if you're on the East Coast, that's going to be 4 p.m. 2 Mountain and 3 Central. It is not members only because half stick will stir. I'll say this. Let's not forget I quote unquote outed Monty with no YouTube channel and 200 Twitter followers. Let's just keep that in mind. And thank you again, Hammy. Sorry, ADHD. I'm all over the place. Oh, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Phil Schneider was an amazing man. RIP. I think it's got to be incredibly difficult to be a we would refer to him as a whistleblower, right? Bad things happen to whistleblowers. It's amazing how many whistleblowers die suddenly or go missing or their cars crash. Listen, pay attention to the world around you. And remember, only thing you take with you are memories, right? Your bonds, your friendships, your love. So focus on those. I have some stuff to work on. I'll be honest, I'm going to go It's 9:45 here, like, and I'm I'm a sleepy burb. I got up early, had a busy day. I'm gonna go disassociate. I'm gonna answer everyone tomorrow. Okay, everyone. I'm not messaging anyone back tonight. I'll answer all my messages tomorrow because I need to just like go relax and take the dogs out. So, thank you so much, Sarah K, for celebrating your milestone. As always, Sean Nova, my ham and beans, my hammy, who is again such a helpful resource during these streams and a fantastic human and friend. A lot of you in here are just absolutely fantastic people. I'm so grateful, so fucking grateful that you guys show up, that you guys support me, and it means the world to me. And I am going to go because I'm getting loopy. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed. Please be sure to like the stream. And if you have any ideas for the next Spoopy stream, leave a comment because that also helps in the algorithm and all that stuff. And I'll be back here Sunday to cause some problems. The Dell coming in fashionably late, girl. How you doing, girl? No worries. It was a fun stream. Again, I'm tired. We've been here for 3 hours. So I'm gonna go disassociate for a little while and go to bed. I will be back here on Sunday to stir up some shit. It's gonna be a good goddamn time. Motherfuckers. Okay, bye.